Okay, folks, here we are, part 2 of the best of 2017. We ran out of space there, so we had to do a part 2.
Do a part 2.
Hey, why not?
So, it's the end of the year, so...
Well, we can talk a lot about comics anyway, right?
Yeah. So we're saying it is the best of 2017. It's also our favorites of 2017. There's a lot of them that couldn't make the list. Earlier I mentioned the Alpha Flight Omnibus. That was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Because Canadian, and I always loved Alpha Flight. So that was up there. Just stuff that didn't...
Yeah.
It just couldn't make the list. We didn't really have time to put in. Otherwise, you'd have a part 3 and a 4 and a 5.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And
we would have had all the Shang-Chi books
all
there.
All the Shang-Chi of them there. So we just picked some of our favorites, some that were critically acclaimed, and some just personal guilty pleasures almost. So,
yeah.
But this one was not a guilty pleasure. This is definitely one of the best of.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It came out later in the year. So this is the Fourth World Omnibus. So I'll hold it if you'll talk about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I love talking about the Fourth World. I tell people that I thought it was like the height of the superhero genre at the time. I mean, to me, when I first started reading it as a kid, it was just like, these concepts are blowing my mind, right? It was just, and that's the great thing about Kirby. He was just so wildly imaginative. And like I say, I've been collecting, I bought a couple of them when I was a kid, but when I got a little bit older and started buying them all, I thought I had a complete collection, and it was when I was living down in New York, and I'd gone to the Forbidden Planet. It was across the road from where it used to be on just below 14th Street there in New York. Anyway, and they had their back issues in the basement, and I was going through, just looking at the Forever people, just to have a look at them. I'm flipping through them. Next thing is just like, hold on a second, what the hell is this? And I pulled out my wallet and unfurled my little piece of paper with all my wanted lists and went down. Sure enough, it was the last one on the list. So my collecting of that series ended in New York City, which kind of had some neat memories for me that way. And then when I came back, I mean, I missed the Hunger Dogs when it first came out, but then I got that when in '98, I went to a comic convention in Chicago, and I managed to get a copy there, and that was the first time I read that. So, meanwhile, I had that other one story that was in those Snook Odd reprints, and so that basically, finished it for me. But it's still one of my favorites, and I don't even know which one out of them I like the best. I love the Jimmy Olsen, because the Jimmy Olsen is the best Jimmy Olsen. No matter what people say about, some people may not like the Fourth World, or I don't like this, that, but they all agree when I say, yeah, but the Jimmy Olsen is without doubt the best Jimmy Olsen ever. And they're like, well, yeah, okay. Because Jimmy Olsen before that was lame, and after that he was even lamer, if that was possible, right? But when he appeared in the Fourth World, the comic just came alive, right?
And this thing is massive. We were saying earlier, over 1,500 pages.
Heavy.
Might be the largest, definitely the largest DC one that has been published.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe the largest besides Colossal Conan that has been released. It's
pretty
up
close.
the air.
Yeah, it's pretty close there too, right?
So this was definitely one of our favorites. Printing error or not,
yeah,
definitely one of our favorites.
I got the other books anyway to work that out.
There you go. There's only one page anyways.
Yeah.
One out of 1,500 ain't bad.
Yeah, exactly, right?
And this was definitely out later in the year.
Yeah. So
it just sneaked in, but it definitely made the list as personal favorites, acclaimed favorites, and a must-own in any DC Omnibus collection, any comic collection, really. Yeah,
especially any DC collector, and especially any Jack Kirby collector.
Yeah.
Got to have this,
I mean, it's entire era. It's 70s Jack Kirby.
Yeah.
This is just his entire DC work, for the most part.
Yeah.
He left Marvel, he went to do this, and then he's back doing Captain America's Bicentennial Battles.
Yeah.
So
yeah, right after that, yeah.
Which is also collected in an omnibus, I think, in Captain America by Jack Kirby.
Yeah, so right up there, yeah.
Continues the Jack Kirby collection.
Yeah.
So we have one more left.
Oh yeah. Paper Girls. Now this one I do believe you also got for Christmas too.
I did.
This one, it's a newer one, and I do recommend it. The art, I love the art. The art is by Chang. Cliff Chang, is that his name again?
Chang.
Cliff Chang, who I loved on Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman he was absolutely stunning on. And this book, I mean, I just picked it up because it was Brian Kay. And, I figured, okay, this is going to be interesting. And I started reading it, and it was just like, oh, wow, this thing is bending my mind, right? It was unreal, so highly recommended that too, right? You're going to love it.
Brian K. Vaughan's Saga Volume 2 was released this year.
Yes, yes. That was in our stack there somewhere too, yeah?
Somewhere on the bottom of a giant pile. Yeah. But that made the list.
Yeah.
We only talk about Saga. It's won all kind of Eisner Awards.
Yeah.
Just Volume 2 and deluxe hardcover came out. For paperbacks, you might be 5, maybe 6 for the volumes of the paperbacks are out. But we bought the deluxe hardcovers.
Yeah.
So we used that one. So,
yeah.
So that was another one on the list.
And last but not least, oh yeah. This thing is a heavy sucker now too, isn't it?
So
now I love these they have magnets in them, so they snap shut.
Let's open it there.
There. And there's all the 5 books. Now I'm rereading this actually, even though I've read it a long time ago. I'm rereading it because I never read it in the backwards format.
Okay.
So it's kind of interesting because it feels like you're exercising part of your brain you've never exercised before when you're doing it. It's a bit of a struggle to read it, but in some ways it's kind of neat too, right?
It's a gorgeous section.
But absolutely gorgeous. And I only discovered that magnetic, like when those come together, there's almost a snap, and to close it up, right? But absolutely. Now this has to be one of the best produced in terms of productions. This has to be one of the most beautiful sets of books this year in terms of a really cool box set. Right.
Yeah. Which don't see a lot of the year.
Yeah.
Box set of the year.
Yeah. Well, there's the upcoming Infinity Gauntlet set.
Yes. Yeah.
So that should be interesting.
Tie in with the movie.
Of course. Yeah.
So, of course.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go lay this down.
Okay. Yeah, it's a hefty one there too. So we were going to close this out by discussing, I guess, a few of our wants or our hopes for 2018.
2018.
So you first. What's your?
It has been solicited. Runaways by Brian K. Vaughan, who will make a list every year for something. He's so versatile.
Yes.
With Saga and Paper Girls.
We love you, Brian.
Saga, Paper Girls, Runaways.
Yeah.
It's all completely different genres, and they're all amazing. So that'll be one of them.
Yeah. And something I'd like to see, although we laughed at when I first mentioned it during our break, was I'd like to see Dark Horse finish off the Warren Archives. And I know you guys at Dark Horse are saying, Wallace, will you please shut up about that? But so many people in the group keep egging me on about it and saying more or less like, go get him. Next.
We were talking earlier about, say, Amazing Spider-Man Volume 4. You'd like to continue them. That would be nice. Reprints of Omnibus would be really nice to see. So, X-Men Volume 1, which is probably the rarest Marvel Omnibus to come out. Now that Marvel kind of has the Fox rights back to the movies, you might start seeing more reprintings of that.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see a volume of that come out again.
And meanwhile, also then Volume 4 of
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four, exactly.
Which was weird. It's only a couple issues shy of the entire Jack Kirby era. I don't know why they didn't include it in Volume 3.
No.
So Volume 4 would finish that off. You'd also get reprints of them. As far as I know, Volumes 1 to 3 are out of print now.
Yeah.
So they're getting hard to get. So maybe when they get an update on that, you'll start seeing 1 to 3 come out again and a Volume 4.
Yeah. Geez, what was some of the others? I'd like to see like Marvel Premiere or even some of the... Oh yeah, and the other big one, one of the ones I've wanted for years, and you reminded me of it earlier, was The Spectre by Ostrander and Mandrake.
Yeah.
And absolutely, and I'm a huge Spectre fan from back in the Jim O'Power days, and that just, it matches it.
Yeah. What else? Available just behind us in the slipcase, probably around 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Dead Man by Neil Adams.
Oh, even longer, believe it or not. Yeah.
Maybe 2000s, maybe
it was
17, 18 years.
Linda gave it to me. So that was a long time ago, right?
So I would love to see a complete collection of that.
Yeah.
You might see it because they were starting to reprint it in paperback. And normally if you see it in paperback, then you'll eventually see it in that. similar with what Marvel does with the Marvel Masterworks.
Yeah.
You know, when they get so far with a Marvel Masterworks,
You're going
and
to see
digitally recoloring and updating everything, then they'll start pumping out an omnibus version of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe one of those.
That's why I'd like to see Marvel Premiere or Marvel Spotlight.
Yeah.
Or Son of Satan.
Son of Satan.
Still one, and the art in Son of Satan was absolutely Sonny Trinidad. It was staggeringly beautiful. That's all I can remember. I can remember much about the stories, but the art just. That's why I bought it back then, all right? And you mentioned a Defenders omnibus.
Defenders.
That would be so cool, hey, folks? Yeah.
I remember reading a list of the top Marvel comics of the 70s. That was ranked very high on the list.
Yeah.
And there is a couple Masterworks out.
Yeah.
But
now it's hard to get the earlier ones.
And now it's hard to get the early ones. So Marvel's 70s is really lacking.
Yeah. And there's a lot of classic stuff.
And there's
there.
a lot of classic stuff out. So we'd like to see some of them.
Yeah. I was going to say Howard the Duck, but we got the omnibus of that.
And a reprint.
And a reprint. Yeah, and a reprint.
And a reprint of it.
You got your Man-Thing.
I'd like to see Black Panther.
Yes.
The Panther's Rage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So by Don McGregor.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that come out. It is in Masterworks. It was impossible to find.
Yeah.
It was just released in a paperback.
Sorry, go
That
ahead.
was a Marvel Epic.
Yeah.
So maybe you'll see an omnibus listed of that. Nothing yet, even though the movie is set to come out soon. They haven't done anything. But hopefully it could lead to an omnibus version, or at least a deluxe hardcover of that one. So
yeah, that would be cool. The what was it? There was one other one I was trying to think of now. Another. Oh yeah, there was some more of the Marvel magazines. I'd like to see some of those. I mean, Boom is putting out the Planet of the Apes, and there was the Doc Savage one a few years ago from Dynamite, and Savage Sword of Conan. I'd love to see a hardcover set of those.
Yeah. Well, any of the Conan, the rights are so hard to get. The Marvel Conan series.
Yeah.
Is on everyone's favorite list and must have, and it's tied up with legal rights and everything. But hopefully, eventually, that will come out. Maybe not 2018, but eventually someday soon.
Yeah, at some point, somewhere. Yeah.
What else would we like to see? Using the back here as references.
Yeah.
So,
it's kind of fun to well, I mean, I love what DC are doing with the omnibuses, especially the Bronze Age, because there's a lot of stuff from DC in the 70s that could still come out. I mean, let alone I'd like to see more like they're coming out with the House of Secrets omnibus. Is it the House of Secrets?
I think it's House of Secrets.
Yeah. And I'd like to see a lot more of the early DC horror titles, because there's a lot of great art in those.
Yeah.
So that's probably my biggest wish of them all is that.
Let's probably see that one.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Well, that's pretty good anyway, I would say. Well, folks, if you have any suggestions, just put them in the comments section and let us know what you think. Of course, like this video and share it to all your friends and pals and all that. And I guess Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year.
For one thing. And we'll see you in 2018. Well, I'll see you next week. And I'm actually going to have Dennis back here as a guest every so often. So because this was kind of fun. Actually, I enjoyed this. Right. I mean, we went over. Well, we went over the first part of this is 20 minutes. This must be at least 10 minutes worth of talking. But I mean, we both love talking about omnibuses and comics. So this is the place. So
thank you.
Thanks for coming.
No problem.
And
my pleasure.
And we'll see you folks in the funny pages. Okay. See you next year.